Good morning, Mr. King. It's a pleasure being in Karachi. I come here often because of work and I have some family here. But I have a strong connection with the city because I was born here many years ago and spent formative years growing up in Karachi, so it has a very special place in my heart. And it's lovely to see all of you here this morning and all the guests that have come from outside of Pakistan and talking about the future. So I found myself asking the question yesterday, why is this important for me? Why is this important for my family? And to borrow an analogy from the military, we have the heat-seeking missile in the military. So this object that sort of finds heat and attacks it. So I think that human beings are purpose-seeking. So by nature, we look for purpose, we look for the why. So we have our reptilian brain, when we have our frontal cortex and the rest of our brain, it's always looking for purpose, for why. And I think it's important to sort of ground this panel this morning in the context of why this is important. And as we talk about the future, I think one theme that perhaps hasn't been touched on so far is longevity. So let me show you a graph. I think this graph sort of drives the point home. If we look at 200 years ago from today, approximately, lifespans average across the world were around under 30. So in the 1770s, 1800s, people expected to live to about 30 years old or less. Lifespans on average today in most of the world are in excess of 70 years. And in fact, in the Oceania and countries such as Japan, I'm sure you've all heard of, lifespans typically will cross 85, and there will be a number of people that will live into the triple digits. So why is this important? There's a very good chance that many of you in the audience, and certainly your children and your grandchildren, will live to be 100 years old or more. Infant mortality, the benefits of health science have gotten us to that point. So as we look at life in a 100-year life, we have to rethink our traditional three-stage life model. So it's no longer going to be, I'm born, I'm educated, I work, and I retire. That works if you're living to 65 or 70. But if we're going to live to 100, and 65 is no longer the age in which you retire and then do nothing, as many of you may have thought of, you need to rethink a multi-stage life. And if you start thinking about a multi-stage life, then you really need to ask the question, how am I adapted to that lifestyle? Am I going to be productive into my 60s, into my 70s, into my 80s? There's a famous saying people say certainly in the developed part of the world that 70 is the new 40. So if you're 70 now or you're 60 now, or it's like to 40 because you have so much of the life ahead of you. So if you're all going to live to 90 or 100, how are you going to live a meaningful, purpose-driven life? And what does digitalization and technology have to offer to you as you live in that life? Do you have the vitality, the adaptability to think, to relearn, to reskill? And do you have a strong network around you of friends and family, co-workers who are going to support you through that process? And are you equipped to use the technology of the future? So this is a thought that I want to start the discussion with. That perhaps this is very, very important to you all because we're going to be living in a digital future for a very, very long time. So we need to stop thinking about IT-shity or technology or whatever and really embrace. I don't know about all of you, but for me, I get hooked onto the cloud, and then they say, well, the cloud's last year's buzz, now it's metaverse. I hook on the big data, and so big data is gone. Now it's all about AI and generative. So every few years, every few months, it feels the technology landscape shifts. So I invite all of you to rethink and reskill and put those hats on and say, this is going to certainly be lifelong learning. So with that, I'm going to start my monologue and now ask this incredible panel that we have assembled for you to give some opening remarks. We have fintech, pop tech, health tech, we have a number of techs in the room. So we'll start perhaps with Anna. If Anna can kick us off and give us some opening remarks, about 3 to 4 minutes, and then we'll go around with all the speakers, and then perhaps I'll ask them a few questions and we can hope to learn from each other. Anna, over to you.
Hello, everybody.
You have to press the button.
Hello, everybody. It's a pleasure to be here today. And today's topic is our digital future. And we have seen with the years the digitalization of economic services, and especially it was boosted by the COVID-19 pandemic, when the borders were closed, people couldn't travel, for example, the use of cash was considered unsanitary. So we have seen the development of different digital payments solution and more access to digital sources. And generally, the digitalization is quite vital, especially in our times. And in our 21st century, we still have a lot of people, around 1.1 billion people, who still don't have even their own identity, and they don't have a digital identity. So, for example, in this case, maybe Web3 identity may be a solution for them, and so they can access to the financial services, to the education, and other public healthcare and other public services. At the same time, around 1.4 billion people still remain unbanked, and of course, as I mentioned, COVID-19 pandemic accelerated the growth of the adoption of different digital payment solutions, and as well adoption of cryptocurrency, which gives access to people who are unbanked to their financial services. And another interesting initiative, I was in January at the World Economic Forum in Switzerland, in Davos, and the World Economic Forum, in cooperation with the Digital Cooperation Organization, launched an initiative on the acceleration of digitalization and spreading of foreign direct investment digitalization, and to identify the challenges of different digitalization solutions, and to improve the climate in the countries to attract FDIs. And the interesting fact is that Pakistan is one of the first countries, along with Rwanda, which are participants of this initiative.
Thank you, Anna. In fact, I think one of the very surprising things that I found out very recently is that as far as crypto adoption is concerned, Pakistan is certainly in the top 5, if not the top 3 countries in the world that has cryptocurrency, Bitcoin transactions, and Ethereum transactions, etc. So as much as we like to think that a lot of Pakistan is unbanked by the traditional banking, which may certainly be true, people are very savvy and they tend to use crypto in Pakistan remarkably. In fact, even amongst people, I was in a taxi cab, and I could overhear the taxi cab driver talking about his crypto wallet and his crypto transaction using EasyPesa and that. So it's an incredible story, and we'll delve into more into that. Dereck, I want to invite you now to sort of give us a completely different view from a completely different universe. We've been talking offline about many different technologies, but I wanted to see your show. You said about what you're working on, what you think about the future of tech.
Yeah, hello everyone. So I'm Dereck Hoogenkamp. I was born in Dutch Caribbean and now live all around the world. And I've seen a lot of things, and I think we have to redefine everything, so including the metaverse, including digital payments. Because everybody always looks at the commercial value of it, right? But how do you use metaverse in a good way? How do you use digital currencies in a good way? How do you utilize them? So for example, metaverse, everybody, metaverse, new thing, well, not true. In 2000, I opened a metaverse company, which was called Rear FIFA, with the Dutch guy, which you went to a building and you had like all different rooms. You went in and you had to interview, job interview. All the big companies were there. It was a very, very internet boom, right? And now suddenly metaverse is something big. There's a commercial driven behind it. What is really the utility of the metaverse? I believe the utility of metaverse education is having the children engaged in, for example, maintaining the culture of Pakistan. Right? For example, why do some children don't go to mosques or don't go to certain museums? Because it's not interesting for them. So use the metaverse, use augmented reality, use VR to make it interesting for them. I don't want to go to church or to the mosque or to the temple with my grandfather because it's not interesting. So that's why we have to use metaverse. That's why we can use digital currencies. And the other side, of course, that it's more seamless or in protect, use IoT, use metaverse. Same as the going from Web 2 to Web 3 and blah, 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 blah. Great. What's the use? Nobody knows really. Everybody in this room has a different definition of Web 3. And what is really good? So do it step by step. Make it useful. For example, I'm working on a project to digitalize certain buildings, certain cultural buildings to maintain cultural heritage and improve rejuvenation and really conscious help for the people and for the new generation. And I believe that Pakistan really has a drive for this. And I think that Pakistan, especially in this region, because I believe in this region, I believe in, for example, the region of Pakistan and the region of Southeast Asia, there is the new future of the world. Because the world is shifting. So I believe there's a huge opportunity here. And I'm happy to say rejuvenation, consciousness, because if you go to the nature here in Pakistan, where can you get this? You guys have everything. They ask, oh, what do we have? We have a young generation here, which is super driven, which is already fully digital. And you have all these nature, which is one of the most beautiful on earth. I mean, you guys are so lucky. Don't only look at the economical drive. It's the same, if you only focus on money, you'll never earn money, you'll never become rich. If you focus on what you have in front of your face, then you get your economical benefits. So that's what I believe, and I'm for the fourth time or fifth time in Pakistan now, and I love it. I love the place, and the people are also super welcoming and fantastic. So, I mean, you're blessed with your country. So that's why I think that focus on the right thing, focus on rejuvenation, focus on utility, focus on what is really there. And don't go too heavy into details. I don't remember what was the internet. Do you know how the internet works? I remember when I had the internet company how it works. I don't know how it works now anymore. Even though I did digitalization. Do you really know how blockchain works? Yeah, of course, I know what is blockchain. Do I care how blockchain works? No, other people can do it, right? So it's the same. Let's focus on the good things. Let's focus on consciousness. Let's focus on longevity. Let's focus on nature. Let's focus on what really is all the economical and wealth comes about. So.
Fantastic. Well, what an impassioned message about the vibrancy of Pakistan. I really appreciate that. So let's switch gears. We're talking about augmented reality. We're talking about how to rejuvenate and how to bring places alive in technology and utility of technology. I want to hand it over now to Michael. Michael is obviously one of our champion panelists on fintech. So let's hear from Michael and hear what he thinks about the future, especially of fintech and enablement and inclusion. Go ahead.
So thank you very much for the invitation. It's an honor to be here to experience Pakistan, the whole authority. First of all, I think having spent 20 odd years doing digital transformation, building platforms, taking different parts of management, I do believe that there is definitely a change happening. There's a change from where the anomaly of the world that we talk now, the opportunity, the financial system, not that no more about the banks. There are opportunities for fintechs and the young generation to offer services that are really inclusive, that are really pushing the needle in terms of financial inclusion. And I think it's great to see that regulation and a drive towards change can really empower the nation and empower the ability to actually provide something new and to move something fresh. So that all kind of boils down to providing more financial success project. So I'm really much enjoying kind of the platform contribution or the platform thinking around offering a more directional system. So yeah.
Thank you. I think it's also important now to bring in Dr. Dhoogenkamp in the conversation. And he has a significant sort of expertise around very varied expertise. His sort of experiences span from health tech and the kind of work that he does with hospitals and digitalization, but also into DeFi and into the world of fintech as well. So we'd love to hear your perspective about what the digital future looks like for you, where you are with the context of Saudi Arabia or the region, and also how you think that can help transform lives.
So the idea was to reach out to help get to those rural areas and villages and those cities where the expertise won't go there. Recently, Saudi Arabia's Saka launched a program where they have the world's biggest virtual hospital. So 130 hospitals are connected with this application. The idea was to have IoT, augmented reality, and the specialities. We have about 35 subspecialties and almost 10 specialities offered on this platform. There is also virtual ICU. So the idea is that how we can provide the same level of service, healthcare services, to those living in the remote areas. And I think it's a very successful story, and I think it should be replicated throughout in other regions as well. That how you can sustainably utilize your existing resources and give the same quality of healthcare services to those living and beyond your approach. So, and also this help in transferring the knowledge from the experts and to the junior doctors and practitioners in that peripheral areas. So I think healthcare has transformed a lot actually when it comes to the digitalization, and Saudi Arabia is very, the Vision 2030 is very aligned with it. The digital transformation, when it comes to the digital transformation, accountability is awesome. There's very strong accountability in the services and in the applications and usability with the mass and the population. And I think we should, as this has to be replicated, throughout the world. That technology is there. You have almost the population has smartphones, and you have the resources. So why shouldn't you move on and digitalize the healthcare as well? And especially when it comes to the such critical health. This program has really helped a lot of patients, especially the elderly patients at home. There is now a separate program in the e-oncology. So they are helping oncologists actually to help the junior doctors and subspecialists to help those patients in administrating and managing the conditions. E-radiology, e-pharmacy. It's important. The horizon is very wide. There are so many things that has been India doing and can be used in other countries. The biggest selling e-health services in America with 43 hospitals. This is a huge, and it's been run successfully. So what I'm trying to say is that I think we have done it, and others can learn from it and replicate it and transform the healthcare. And the results are awesome actually. So yes, there's a lot of things still happening, and still there are a lot of programs in the pipeline which we will see in the future as well.
Exciting developments. And sometimes people don't think about looking at, for example, the Gulf countries, Saudi Arabia, etc. as a model. And I think that it's mistaken. Having lived in UAE myself for about 20 years now, I think that you can really see innovation being unleashed unleashed in the Gulf countries, in Saudi Arabia, in KSA. And the value of visionary leadership that enables, that provides the right kind of vision, drive, and then provides the resources to do great things. So Saudi is coming off the massive model, especially in the last couple of decades of complete transformation of society and market. And the UAE, I think we all know about, especially those who found there, the incredible things that part of the world is doing. There's a lot to learn because Pakistanis, in many cases, are the engine, are the fuel of that transformation. In fact, we have a very significant role to play. So I think it would be a crying shame for not able to bring all that expertise that is Pakistani in its essence, for a large part, back into Pakistan and utilize it here. I want to hand over to Dushan now. Dushan, your company, your space is doing some very interesting things in the blockchain space and in fintech. Please tell us about what your space is up to and what gets Dushan out of bed in the morning.
Thank you. Good morning, audience. So first, I will just proceed with the point which Dereck has made, and everything very much important. Apart from the advice made, presenting the profession also. What is happening? IoT is coming, metaverse is coming, so much big data is coming, so much technologies, the IoT impact has that required. But are we getting visibility? Where are the use cases for that? One thing is that the developer job is create an idea, provide a platform. Metaverse is there. First time someone asked me the profession, I shared it with him, and he said that one of my clients said to me, I have bought a space in Metaverse and now I need it out. How to do that completely? And he said, yeah, I don't know which place is for these distributed. So the issue with technologies is that IT tax, they are being awarded, but do the profession, accountancy profession, auditing profession, our regulators, our banking system, are they getting the benefit of this? Otherwise, we are not getting the full benefit, the full environment, the full way of technology and our person our way. So, if I move to the professional accountancy and advise these specific areas, all the new startups, all the new concepts, they have to be in line with this new technology. What is the basic issue with the auditing? We need a track, we need a proper trade, we need to see that all the steps that are being faced. And that's the same issue we need to do for auditing, that's the same issue the taxation people they need to do, that's the same thing which state and needs to see. That's the same thing which there is a biggest financing product in taxes and vice financing, which is unleashed still today in Pakistan. And if we put the burden to the bank that I can't do it, they are very much right, because once the change is not complete, that is the thing, how they can provide financing for an employees. And what happens then? They get the agreements, and then the company will just start increasing. These becomes a permanent working capital, and they are not going to end ever, and then they become a cost. The 20 years in the companies as we are doing today, this is the part and parcel. But those companies who are well structured, who have well technology with them, they can only do it. So, with the advice made and with this whole blockchain concept, the very first time we were thinking the blockchain was being a synonym for Bitcoin. And speaking Pakistan now, this transformation is that you can say that Bitcoin is state, but very first time I went to almost 5-6 years back, they said never say that Bitcoin is state, it's banned in Pakistan. So this is the transformation of the thoughts that yes, we have to accept this as realities. So with the advancement, what we want to do is that we are working on a reality which is being supported, which is being powered by the blockchain. But that's not really a simple reality. We want that this blockchain-based whole entire solution, it should be there with the financial system. Now, the person who is going to make the advice, who is going to accept the advice, they are identified. Nobody can make a drug to that. You can do the funding, you can do the advice funding, you can get the credibility. We have the ECIP, but that is for the financial sector. Let's develop the ECIP for the non-corporate sector. So, blockchain is a basic concept in which all these areas are being covered. And we are not just at the concept phase, it's at launch. We are already working, we are moving to the enterprise version. And the best thing is that the biggest cost for your digital banks, the biggest cost for your SME banks is to go and search the right customers. using the investment, using the blockchain technology, digitalizing your business, they wish the data has authentication. Banks, they don't have internet cost. So the outreach would not be only in the big clients. Outreach should be the small, the medium, and very basic small business also. So that's the strength that one use case can create, and you can go over this. So again, as long as these technologies, for example, as Dereck was saying, the metaverse, Dr. was saying for this whole digital world, for the virtual hospital. So why not we have been having the banking metaverse there, in which all the banks are in there with their own they are telling what products they have been having, and the regulator is sitting there also in the avatar saying what the promises and what the concept they are moving to that. So anything is possible until unless this technology is going to be transformed into a use case. So this is what our specialty is, and we are looking on that area, and we are seeing that transformation. People are listening over this, and we are actually doing the bridging job between this technology and the industry and the regulator and the businesses and the startups. So that's the way forward, that's what we, and we are looking for that.
Thank you, John. I think this idea of the banking metaverse is something that really sort of jumps up at me. And if I put my hat on as an entrepreneur, someone who leads a retail franchise for coffee and tea, the banks in Pakistan especially love to take really premium real estate, corner real estate boxing, and sort of, in my view, almost hog the best spaces. And when the rest of the world is moving towards digitization, banking, and becoming branchless, in Pakistan, unfortunately, still there's a very significant focus on physical banking. So I love this idea of the banking metaverse, and I hope that it catches on, perhaps due to a few selfish reasons of my own. But let me come back to, because you also mentioned Bitcoin and how Bitcoin was something that people said is bad. People say technology, you can try and ban technology, but technology always finds a way. You can try and stop the sort of regular ways, but people will always find a way to access assets, and especially digital assets. So, and now, tell us about what your thoughts are about Bitcoin. I'm just confused. Does it need to be a part of my portfolio? Is it a portfolio diversification strategy? Is it a replacement of money? Are we looking at crypto and specifically Bitcoin to replace money altogether, or is Ethereum going to be the way I do my smart contracts in the future? What is your view on the future of crypto? And is this, are we finally arriving to the new age of disintermediation?
So basically, Bitcoin was created by Sebastian Autonomous to a synonymous person or group of people as B to B mine. So initially it was created for sending payments of the internet in anonymous way. But now we see as well different other adoptions of Bitcoin. Some people consider it as a store of value, as digital gold. Additionally, in the recent years, we have seen that even some countries adopt Bitcoin as their official currency. For example, the first country in the world which adopted Bitcoin as a legal tender was El Salvador, and another country is South African Republic, which adopted Bitcoin as official currency in April last year. And so we see that the same El Salvador is quite remittance-dependent economy, and it's really vital for those people to use Bitcoin to reduce the fees for the sending of these remittance payments. Then we saw in other countries how Bitcoin currency became very important. For example, in Venezuela with the hyperinflation, in Lebanon, and in some other countries. Another use case for the cryptocurrency is cross-border transfers. And when you go to the bank, if you just want to send like 200 or plus to your friends in another country, it would take at least a few days for the bank transfer, and as well there will be a big fee, so it's not useful for the small cross-border transactions. In the case with cryptocurrency, the fee is usually up to $1 when there are high gas fees like Ethereum, it's up to $5 or something like that, but that fee is pretty small. And as well, the transactions are pretty immediate. And I'm originally from Ukraine, and we have seen how cryptocurrency became a very powerful tool during the times of the war, during the different crises. And Ukraine raised $178 million in cryptocurrency and crypto donations by the Ukrainian government alone, and it's not counting the donations to private charity organizations and volunteers. And but in such situation, you need to immediately help other people. You need to buy some equipment and other necessities. It's a great solution, and as well, it's great when other merchants accept cryptocurrency as a payment method. Now we have seen another initiative like with the Spain in Turkey. They developed created DAO which raised donations to cryptocurrency to help those people. When you mentioned the Bitcoin is banned in some countries, and currently it's banned only in China, but still China is one of the most active investors into Bitcoin. And Bitcoin can have different meaning for different people. For somebody it's store of value, digital gold, some people just use it for payments. So for my opinion, Bitcoin currently is not viable to use for everyday payments because it's so volatile. So stable coins in this case are much better solution. And so because we see now as well a number of other cryptocurrencies like Ethereum and many other use cases, and those are just thousands of them. So some, most of them are also utility tokens, so they should be used in the ecosystem in this app, but people is also use it like the same as money or investment and so on. In other case, we see the appearance with the Ethereum of smart contracts, where you can remove intermediaries and you can build different applications on top of different blockchains. And we see now not only Ethereum, but a lot of other layer 1 solutions, so alternative blockchains, and layer 2 solutions which try to reduce the fees for Ethereum transactions and to accelerate the speed of the payments. We have seen as well a number of different applications building on those blockchains. And blockchain allows to remove intermediaries, remove third parties, which reduces a lot the cost of this transaction. Usually we have seen that first governments and big players were quite against the adoption of cryptocurrency of Bitcoin, and of course it's understandable because it's a reliable monetary system. I don't think that Bitcoin or any other currency will replace totally fiat. I think they will coexist, and especially now countries researching 114 countries implementing or experimenting with so-called central bank digital currencies, CBDCs. But in this case, CBDCs can be called really cryptocurrency because unlike the centralized currencies, they are controlled only by one entity, a centralized bank. But maybe we will see not regional CBDCs in the future, but just will be used for international trade between countries and so on. And as well, banks are getting into blockchain cryptocurrency too. Like many corporations and banks have been already using blockchain for years, but now they're considering as well the use of cryptocurrency themselves. And DeFi, for example, last year JP Morgan made the first cross-border DeFi trade in tokenized deposits of tokenized Singaporean dollars to tokenized Japanese yen. And they used Polygon blockchain for the on-chain transactions. And JP Morgan as well considers that tokenized deposits will have bigger adoption than stablecoins because they are very well trusted parties by the banks, and they need methods for DeFi trading.
Wow, that's a lot to grapple with. I want to bring in Michael, who's dealing with fintech for a second, and with crypto. You want to say something, Michael? Go ahead.
So
many years ago, I would say, kind of great branch, then I think the future is more in terms of the independent clients. So the financial services are becoming more or less a commodity because of technology, because of the own barriers for new trade entry. I think it's interesting to see that you can actually put financial services inside your normal kind of offering. So with independent finance, you can empower the usual kinds of self-payments or other things. You don't have financial services. So again, financial services kind of disappears as more of a physical thing, even though even a metaverse, and it becomes kind of embedded into your everyday life. And that's really kind of powerful when you think about creating these kind of value propositions to specific segments to a pizza maker. And they can have that, they can have a pizza maker app that not only provides them with all kind of the needs to stock items, etc., but also provides them with financial services. Why do they need to go necessarily to a bank? Why do they need to create an account? Why can't they just do that, just like they do creating an info? I think the technology and the capabilities of the technologies that are coming allow that to be much easier to do. And that's really, for me, very exciting.
Yes, I mean, the enablement of the technology platform will provide to make democratize, make it easily accessible is something really exciting. And I found another point that I made were quite intriguing, in Ukraine, for instance, and other parts of the world where sometimes they shock to the system, whether that's in the form of war or whether that's in the form of a pandemic. That can really help accelerate the adoption of technology so quickly. The post-COVID era, for instance, as far as edtech is concerned, as far as collaboration is concerned, fintech services is concerned, that really sort of jolted the entire world really into coming into a sort of visualization for the value of a lot of technologies that would otherwise taken perhaps much longer to become mainstream and adopted. I want to come back to you, Dereck. You've been living in UAE for a very long time. You've had a lot of experience sort of living in different parts of the world. How do you see the development of AI and ML and these technologies in the areas that you work? What are the opportunities and what are the things the trends that people should be aware of and look forward to? Love to hear your thoughts.
Dangerous question. And first of all, about Bitcoin, come back. I was really happy to wake up this morning with it went up 10%. And first of all, second of all, Bitcoin, is it really decentralized? Who knows? Big question. Metaverse and DAOs, are they really decentralized? Big question. So there's many questions to be answered. Yeah, is Bitcoin important? Of course. Is it a good thing? Yes, because you can compare it to the internet era, right? In the internet era, when I had an internet company, there were big names like Yahoo or like Excite or like all this. They were on the top. There were worth billions and billions. And there were 1,000x like Bitcoin is now, right? Where are those companies? Where are they? Right? So see, there will be always, in my opinion, there will be some control. It can never be decentralized. It's a different thing than what is made, right? They're using the blockchain, the system to make it work. And he really uses blockchain and new technologies to make it easier. And it's working. It doesn't depend on decentralization or metaverse or whatever. So that's really a use case, right? And it's working, and it's true. So coming back to your question, machine learning, ML, or artificial intelligence, AI, be careful, because it is very dangerous what we're doing now. Machine learning, machines can have emotions already, that has been proven. If you do AI on emotions, then you know what can happen. Imagine a machine gets angry, and the machine has a lot of power. So it's very dangerous field we are in now, and I think we should be really careful. AI, yes, can absolutely work. AI combination with machine learning in factories, for example, parallel tuning. I believe a lot in parallel tuning. So meaning again, using a real existing thing, putting a twin of it, makes that parallel twin. And the triplet can be gamified because there are people in the crowd who create games. It's a different world. Should not be mixed. with parallel screens. It should not be mixed. They're two different methods. One is sandbox, which is all virtual and this and that, and it's all games and this and that. That's a different story. Parallel screening can be really useful. Look at factories. If you copy a factory, you don't have to travel anymore to fix the machine. Yeah? So that is what, and then machine learning and AI can help too. Look again, coming back to cultural buildings. Beautiful buildings you have. So look at that. I mean, if you have a parallel screen, the kids can go in, they can use their mobile, they can see, click it, for example, on this item or on this page, and they can learn, right? And they used to use the mobile, they're not listening to grandma, right? So they can use the mobile, they can learn, and you can go on the DeFi platform to this museum, or to make the building more beautiful. Or you can take a picture, or when you take a picture, just put your phone on the building, and you can see what architecture it is, and how the history, how the building evolved over to 200, 300, 500 years. In Pakistan, they live 800-year-old, 1,000-year-old buildings, one of the oldest structures in the world. So it is all useful, it's utility, it is what it is. So machine learning and AI, guys, if you are an entrepreneur, you want to make a lot of money, go into that. Absolutely, right? Because it's the new boom, right? After we had the telecom boom, we had the internet boom, we had the crypto boom, we had the DeFi boom, we had the NFT boom. Okay, now AI boom. It's all okay, economical driven. Remember what I said before? Economical driven. So think about if you want to do something good, just do something good with AI. Do something good with machine learning. Not only economical. The economical benefit, because what you're going to do when you die, nothing to do with it. So there comes again metaverse, AI, and machine learning. This is really scary, guys. So imagine, let's say my father, who's in heaven, had AI, right? And had machine learning. And I had his Instagram account, and his Facebook account. I would still go to my father and ask him for advice in the metaverse. How crazy is it? How crazy, I'm still playing with my dog who died in the metaverse. And he will do the same work, the same things, the same stuff, and he will respond to me. So how crazy is it? But do we really want to go there? That's also a question. Is there a utility? What is the utility of it? Guys, we need to see utility. We live in now, we're hopefully not that soon, right? Let's take a look at how we can use it for longevity. How we can use it to maintain the heritage of Pakistan. How we can use it to maintain the good cultures you have here, the good food. I mean, I'm getting a lot of people here, so great. So how do we use this? Because it's dangerous. AI is dangerous. ML is dangerous. But let's use it for good, and let's use it also for here, right? And that's, I think, we're also here. It said prepare for disruption, but let's try to prepare for disruption to do good instead of doing that. And it's the future, yes. But use all these things which are the future, which have been there for a long time. But let's use it and not only look at the commercial, because if you do good, the whole commercial benefits and the wealth and the abundance comes by itself. So I say always, God, let's go. Let's go, no? Let's do it.
Yes, that's an inspiring message. I want to bring it up in health law and discuss perhaps the implications on health and health tech. How do you see in the post-COVID era, what have we learned from COVID? What do you think is going to happen in the future as far as pandemic control is concerned? What are the technology lessons of the past that can inform how we deal with things in the future? We all suffered insufferable lockdowns, for instance. And then in those lockdowns, we had to try and make do with a lot of technology at that time. So what are the most exciting things that you're looking at in the post-COVID era as far as technology is concerned, AI is concerned? What do you think we should all be looking forward to? If you want to comment on what Dereck said, please go ahead. Yes.
So I just wonder about actually, yes, you are right. It's dangerous. So how we are using in Sahara program, the AI, the AI algos are predicting the critical patient's triage up to 95%. So AI is being used in a very positive way in helping out managing patients with patients. So it is a positive way to use it, and it's being used. Yeah, for the post-COVID, surely actually COVID helped a lot with it, especially the COVID time, for home virtual healthcare and e-pharmacies and e-health. So, and I think it has to move in that direction. And I think we are moving in the right direction in the sense that now we never thought that you will be able to communicate with your consultants, with the psychiatrists, with the doctors, your dietitian, to just provide that before COVID. I mean, yeah, the technology was there, but no one believed it. But now it is being used, and as I said, because of this thing, we are able to get the same experience in healthcare, the patient experience. Those who are far from the big hospitals and the consultants in the capital and big cities. So yes, the technology is taking healthcare to the next level.
Thank you. Yeah, I mean, for me, it's always a surprise that although sometimes we feel we know so much about the human body, sometimes we go to your doctors and they say, well, we just don't know anything about that. But in other areas, there's some incredible breakthroughs. I was reading a paper recently about nanorobots and their role inside the body to be able to identify cancer cells, for instance. So you ingest robots and they find cancer cells in it. So there's a remarkable sort of length and breadth of all the sort of incredible technologies that are coming down the road, and how that's going to impact our rejuvenation, our mobility, our utility. Tishan, I want to ask you, I think it's the final question of the minimum to here. What do you think Pakistan has to offer to the rest of the region and the world as far as blockchain technology, as far as the future, the digital future is concerned? And if I have children today in Pakistan, if I have someone who's going to college in Pakistan, what are the skills that Pakistanis need to focus on to be able to meet the challenges of the future, to be able to grow into that, and to have the kinds of opportunities we all want for ourselves and our families?
Okay. The question has two parts. The first part is to the academia. Again, I am part of the academia because with the complexity, and we have now already added in the academia all the guys and all these business intelligence modules which are being concerned with the finance. So you can't rely on the specialists now. You have to go to the next step. Few days back, the ChatGPT, the one extension, portal trial, it is the balance sheet. So the question was that do these documents are required? So the student came to me and said, are we still required? I said, professor, see, whatever language is doing, we still need are required for interpretation. So this is the same, we can give the options, but the final decision it lies with us. So we have to get ourselves back to quick automatically. And we are working on this. We're very good. It has always been because of the current economic situation and other stuff. We are in a state of big question mark, but everything is not in that. Many possibilities are there. People are working on this. For example, I see a big opportunity in the UAE Gulf in the sectors of Iran. They are having the corporate access. We work with the government of Malaysia for the implementation of the ban. Then the ban comes to the UAE, and now corporate access is there. The whole system required to be documented first and then digitalized first. We are far ahead in that area because we have been managing it, handling it, and this is where we can have an excellent resources with us. We can do the export of those resources. We can pay and we can generate a maximum amount of the revenue for this nation, the amount of dollars which is required by this skill. And these economies, they are not being based on the skill base. Just check the number, the amount of the billions of dollars economies that are there. And once they are in this taxation rule, once they are in the VAT rule, once they are in getting themselves more and more documented, and we have successfully come out of the academia. So the law support is required for what pathways we can have that out. So this is a great avenue for the professionals, for the technology professionals, for the tech accountant professionals. So I normally say that first we have audit manual, then we move to the computer assisted audit techniques CAD. Now it is no more CAD, it is going to be AI, artificial intelligence assisted audit techniques. So we have to move ahead. And that's the path for the future and for the past.
Thank you, Shan. So I've been told our time's up. I want to thank all the panelists for a riveting discussion. I think we could not talk about this for the next few hours easily, and the amount of passion that's on this panel as well. But thank you everybody, and let's continue discussing and chatting, and let's look forward to our digital futures together. With all its opportunities, some have skepticism, but also utility. That's the key word. So thank you so much.
Thank you, this is wonderful. I have to take you through deep dives to understand all the technical conversation going on. So I really loved it when you mentioned focus on the good things, focus on what you can do, enjoy it, don't get too involved into the technicality of it. And then of course, a very profound question was raised, that how much is useful? We are talking so much about it, do we really need all that 3D ChatGPT, do we really need it, and how best to productively utilize it. Thank you so much, everyone. I would just request you to stay on for 1 minute. I would like to request our very, very loved Dr. Chantal, the chairperson of Pakistan Stock Exchange, SSGC, and Kaladas to please join us on stage to give away the souvenirs to our very esteemed panelists. I would also request our Major General Shehzad Naim Sahab, Chief Public Affairs Officer of the National Group, to pass out. Thank you. We will be presenting a token of appreciation souvenirs, a book on Pakistan and story of Indus. Dr. Shehzad will be giving away the book. If I would request my department to please.
मैंने बस यहीं रुकिएगा, ये रुकिएगा, सेंटर में रुकिएगा, सेंटर में।
मैम इस साइड आ जाओ,
सेंटर में आ जाइए प्लीज।
बैकड्रॉप के साइड।
Please move. Right. Okay. Look here. Yes, sir.
Dereck Hoogenkamp. Dereck, I got your name right.
Yes, look here. So look here.
Dhoogenkamp and Raji. And Mohammed Ishaq.
Look here. Look here, sir. Thank you. Yes, look here, please.
And our very own Margarita Smartis.
Yes. Look here, sir.
We are all set for our second panel discussion.
सही है,